Hi everybody, it's Kerry here at the North East Autism Society and I'm joined today by Tony and Danny from the Life Science Centre. And some of our young people have been asking about fossils and rocks, so we thought that we'd do a little session on them. So Danny, what have you got that you want to show our young people?
I have a few different fossils with me today, and they're all fossils that can be found in the northeast of England. Um, Fossils can be all sorts of different things, all sorts of different parts of living things that lived a long time ago and have turned to rock over the years, but normally they're the harder parts of living things, things like bones maybe, or teeth, or shells. I'm going to show you some fossils, and I want you and the people at home, to try and guess what they might be. So we're going to be using our observation skills. We're going to be asking questions, and then trying to figure out what these fossils might be. Let's see. Let's start with this one here. I think that's a good view. So, Kerry and Tony, first up, can you see where the fossil is on this one?
Yeah.
I think I can see a little row of something.
Yeah,
is that the fossil?
This bit here.
Yeah, it almost looks like little fingers all in a row like this.
Yeah.
To me, that looks a little bit like teeth in a row. It looks, you know what? It looks a little bit like it looks a bit like a crocodile, actually, Danny, with its teeth.
Okay, and what do you think, Tony?
I think that's a really good guess. Yeah, it looks like a row of, I would say a row of teeth as well, probably, because I don't think it'd be fingers, because I don't think anything has that many fingers.
Good guesses. This isn't part of an animal at all. This is part of a plant. This is the leaf of a fern.
Ah, okay. So one thing that's interesting there is usually when I think of like leaves, when when the trees drop their leaves and they go onto the ground, the leaves rot away. So it's not very often that you would see them as fossils, is it?
No, definitely not. Most of the leaves from this time, millions and millions of years ago, would have rotted away or been eaten by animals. But some, when they fell off the plant, would have sunk underwater if they were by a river or a lake, or maybe they got covered in mud or sand, and that helps to preserve them. It stops things being able to eat them or rot them away. And over time, more and more layers of mud and sand get laid down on top, and the pressure builds up and they get squashed, and eventually all those layers and the leaf inside it turn into rock and it becomes a fossil. But you are right, it is very rare that something does become a fossil.
So do you have any more fossils?
I do. I have another one. I'll just move my leaf out of the way. This one's a little bit bigger, so it also means it's a little bit heavier.
Oh, that's huge.
Okay, so again,
that one's got like spots on, hasn't it? Look,
it does.
It's got lots of spots.
And they're not just dots that you can see. If I rub my fingers on them, I can feel each of those dots is like a little dip in the surface, so it's quite rough and bumpy.
They almost look a bit like scales in that case, kind of, like scales on like a crocodile. Again, we found more crocodiles. Is this the crocodile?
What do you think, Kerry? What might you think it is?
Well, I was thinking about a snake actually, but I don't know if it's a bit big for a snake. Just because of the little spots on it, I think possibly. Yeah, I'll go with snake for this one. Yeah, because of the shape of it, it looks like.
Yeah, good guesses as well. It does look like maybe like a leg of a crocodile or the body of a snake, but this is another plant.
Yeah.
This is a branch of a type of tree called a scale tree. So you were right about that pattern, and instead of having bark like a tree today, it was quite smooth, but then had all these little pits and bumps in it that made it look like the scales of some kind of a reptile. These trees, they could grow to be really big. So they could be up to 30 meters tall, which is about the same height as if you piled 7 double-decker buses on top of each other. It's a pretty tall tree. And like I said, these fossils that I'm showing today are all ones that have been found in the northeast. So that means about 300 million years ago, all of the northeast was a forest covered in these huge trees.
Wow. So that's even before dinosaur times, isn't it? 300 million years ago. That was before they were around.
About 70 million years before the dinosaurs first appeared. And this one was found in County Durham in a village called West Rainton.
Cool. What's the black stuff that's at the bottom just by your right hand?
Oh, yeah, I'll show that a bit closer. This stuff here, this is, well, it's attached to the fossil, and it's what the fossil was found in. So I say this fossil was found in West Rainton, but it was actually found underground in West Rainton in a mine. So
I think I might know what it is.
What do you think it is, Tony?
If it was from a mine and it's black and underground, I would say coal.
It is. It's a bit of coal that's still stuck on the fossil, and I've got another bit of coal from County Durham here. So normally this is how we find it, as a shiny rock, but sometimes you do get bits of it attached to the fossils that we find among it. You might have heard coal be called a fossil fuel, and that's, it's not just because we find fossils in it like that branch, it's because it is made of the remains of things that lived a long time ago. So those forests I was talking about, where all the scaled trees lived, the trees all died and fell down, and there were so many trees and the conditions were so good for making fossils that lots and lots of them were buried under the sand and pressed together under lots and lots of layers, and they got heated and they got squashed, and eventually they stopped looking like bits of plants at all, and they started looking more like this shiny black rock. So coal is made from plants at the end of it.
Great.
So these are just some fossils you can find in the northeast, but you can find fossils in the area that aren't plants. And I think you found some of those, haven't you, Tony?
Yeah, so I really love going to the beach, and I always look along the shoreline for shells and bits of sea glass, but I also look out for fossils. And this is one here that I found on the beach at Whitley Bay. So you can see it's got lots of white bits in it, and you might notice lots of them are curved. So you can kind of, some of them are chopped in half, some of them are upside down. And they're the remains of shells. So here's a brachiopod shell. I've got a bivalve shell here as well. So they're little creatures that were in the shells. And there's lots of these in this rock here. And you find a lot of these at Whitley Bay, and also Seaton Sluice. You can find fossils in the ground just on the foreshore of the beach there as well. So it's worth having a look around there.
So Tony, if some of our young people wanted to go and explore looking for rocks and fossils, how would they know where to go?
Well, there's a good website that I use actually called the UK Fossil Network, and that website gives you lots of suggestions of places that do have fossils, and also gives you important information about how to stay safe while doing it as well. So because you have to just be careful when you've got the tides of the sea and perhaps rocks that might fall or might be loose. So I would really recommend having a look for some fossil localities, that's what we call them, on their website, and happy fossil hunting if you do.
Great. Well, Tony and Danny, thank you so much. I think what we'd like to see is some of our young people go and explore and have a little look and see what they can find, and also have a little guess at some of the fossils that you've shown us today, see what they think they are. And if you do that, send us some photographs and some videos, and yeah, we'll see you all for our next session soon. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.